Alanda, I swear to God, you're like, when I think of like YouTubers today and like internet personalities, like I swear to God, when I think of like who would be my dream like internet personality, it's you, bro. And you know how I know this? Because ever like during, our Tumblr era, which for some people may have been an error, it is still my life. I fucking love Tumblr. You
Absolutely.
always like your board and everything was always just like on point. And it was so funny because like I recently was like looking for music, and so I went on your Spotify, bro. And
I noticed I got some
the
news. Yeah,
the
go on.
architectural organization, like every album was a mood and I felt it like in my soul, and I was just like, why isn't
Oh
this
my
girl
god.
like freaking famous? I don't understand, because
Oh
I'm
my
like, your
god.
personality is the reason I even go on Instagram. Like I swear to
Oh.
God, like your stories be the things that give me fucking life on that app. Like I'd be dying. Like, and every
Oh.
time you be deleting your Instagram, I'd be like, this woman, bro. I'd be like,
Sis,
where'd she
what the
go?
hell?
Where
You
did
know,
she go?
all the greats gotta take a break. You gotta go on a hiatus to preserve your creative energy because sometimes the internet is just too much. Like I like my point for a lot of things has been my thesis, the excuse of my thesis, because it was just such a toxic place. Like, additionally, you're already comparing yourself in business school to all the other LinkedIn profiles because everybody's just out there posting like their great next achievement. If anything's as bad as Instagram, it's LinkedIn, man. Like, that is cancerous. But then I started seeing that, like, me looking at not being able to do the things yet that I want to do creatively or that like fulfill me outside of school on Instagram, and other people were doing it. I'm like, when am I going to be able to do that? Like, why am I not able to do that? And then to take my mind off of writing my thesis on my big screen, obviously I take time off my big screen to look at my little screen. I mean, that's just the way it is. We're living in a Black Mirror episode, and that's going to be the running theme of this
Late
conversation.
stage capitalism and its
So,
symptoms.
I am crying right now. Why did we not diversify our economic, social, and political systems? What are we doing? Why are we not mimicking
Hey,
biodiversity in our
America
architecture?
fought so hard for democracy to be the way, bro. They
Oh
fought
my god.
real hard.
Oh my Deja. I swear. Like, honestly, sidetrack, digression, undiagnosed ADHD is gonna come through heavy here. But yeah, no, Instagram just I got would distract myself with my small screen on my break for when I'm going to bed, and I would catch myself reading the comments, and I was appalled by like the statements people could make online via like a screen, like a facade. It's like a fake. It's a persona for some people, to just spew hate and to give their unsolicited opinion that is not beneficial in any way to all parties instead of minding their
They
own
have a
business.
platform. This is their PR
Oh
stage.
my
This
god.
is how they feel important. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, it's probably like Christian Judy that lives in like Nashville, Tennessee with her two chihuahuas and three kids, and she's just living a concern. But she's out there telling like Ariana Grande she's a Satan worshiper and she's contaminating our kids with her music. Like, who asked for that? Nobody, literally nobody asked for
The
that.
dogmas people convince themselves of. I cannot. It
It's
is.
it's honestly astonishing. Like, you gotta give them. At one point, you're just like, these people really believe what they're saying, Like, ah. But a friend of mine told me, and I briefly saw headlines about it, but I never really looked into it. But apparently, there was like some case in the Netherlands during COVID where people had made like threats about the like some political individual, some
Hmm.
politician as they call them,
The men in
and
the suit,
so
our
yes,
leaders, our
yeah,
leaders.
yeah. Sometimes women, sometimes they them. You never know, but weird stuff and things. Yeah. Oh, they did this case, and so these people were making statements online about politicians in the Netherlands, and because of the severity of these threats, some of them were like court sentenced, or like somehow there was like legal issue with the statements they made. And when they were being questioned or were being trialed or something like this, they most of them admitted to saying they never thought it would be read or like be taken so seriously by someone, and they just said it without thinking, you know. And this is why I'm saying we're living in a Black Mirror like episode, a very long one, like it's a movie with
It's
with
the story of
prequels and
our life. Like,
series. There's like a spin-off. It's crazy. I can't, every day something new. My eyes just keep, wow, can't take it all in. But you know, we're talking about that anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's just crazy like how people will just say these things online and don't think it'll get back to people. I couldn't believe
sometimes
it.
I read it more as like, cause like Netflix ain't got nothing good. Let's be real. Hollywood is on its
Oh,
last legs, but
oh,
Instagram comments, they be so entertaining. Cause sometimes I'm just like, there is no way they're having this actual argument right now. Like, and it's like every time America gives them like something to debate, whether it's Roe versus Wade, you know, Black Lives Matter, whoever is the president. It's just something. And or even like you said, just regular ass people in the street, they got something to say. And I'm just like, this is, it's
like
too
who asked?
funny. Like
You
this is
know,
the reality TV we didn't know we needed and we're like low key don't want anymore, but it's like the funniest shit that low key when, you know, future generations look back, they're going to be like, what the actual hell? Cuz now everything is documented. Like all these
it's
comments like
crazy. It's just insane because now it's even like now we have internet laws. Like 5 years ago, that was not even a thing yet. Like wait, like whilst we were in high school and we were creating so much content online, like I was like you said, like I was in my Tumblr era of life. I still am. Sometimes I look back on that, I'm like, no wonder I am who I am today. Like that makes a lot of
exactly. I'm
sense
like
for my
my
character.
Tumblr board is my
Yeah,
vision board for life. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
if you're trying to see
exactly.
a bitch's mind, it is Tumblr.
Yeah,
Go look at her Tumblr page. You have all of her secrets.
exactly. Like if you really want to get to know me, my co-star and my Tumblr, like
That's all you
you
need.
know,
That's all you need.
exactly. And if you're lucky enough, my spam account. So it's really VIP service out here. Like, but it's really crazy because I just sometimes I can't believe this direction we're going in, where we're just using the internet for everything. Like, there is no way that you can live off of the grid and be a part of like mainland, air quotation, society, because you literally need it's to connect to everything, and it's connected to everything. You miss out, you don't. And it's crazy for me that even after I went on that year and a half or a year long Instagram hiatus, it was great. Like, but I still use my phone, you know, just at a lesser decibel. And I was still had to use it, what's it called? I still had to use it when I did my internship, and it was for my thesis. I still had to do so much research. It was just a different form. But honestly, if there's one thing I want to do, it's just make enough money to retire, because I don't even need to be rich. If I'm honest, I just need to make enough money to retire somewhere very much off the grid, using a burner
Preach.
phone consistently, and just don't even try contacting me unless it's by letter or pigeon carrier. I don't know, but just don't even think about trying to get me online. I'm gonna be living my life in analog, because
That
even
is
though I'm,
hilarious.
yeah, you know, so it's so funny and contrasting when I say these things and then I'm online and I'm an internet personality somehow, but it's still like for me, my internet personality is just like moments of my life um
They're
captured.
you. They're
Yeah,
just
and
you. You're
yeah,
being, and I freaking love it because, like, there's nobody like you, bro. Like, you're so, like,
thanks,
quirky in, like, the cutest and most hilarious way. Like, all of your
thank
struggles,
you.
I relate to. I'm like, yes. You know, I'm like, yes, they are the enemy and they should suffer.
eternal suffering for all of
For all.
the bad mind people. But like, no, but it's so funny because I have this, but it's still for me intertwined with who I am, like in person. And when you meet me, I'm just as quirky and relatable online as I am in person. And I think it's just the internet has really given me a space, I suppose, to like express my comedy to my friends because
Yeah. I love
I
it.
just
I live for
think,
it. That shit is
thanks.
so my morning routine
I
is to
love
go
you.
and
Thank
and
you.
view, like what is the latest and greatest in Panda Land. Like I
You know what to do. We'd be putting it out and new content every Tuesday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But no, it's like it's really interesting. Like now I am back on Instagram. I think I've been back on Instagram since like March or something, as soon as I was done defending my thesis. And like I have such a different outlook on it. Because I was funny before, not to blow smoke up my own ass, but like I would do the comedy shit and I'd be very vocal. It wasn't an odd thing for me. But when I came back, I really felt more like myself. Like I wasn't making it so dramatized, or like it was very dramatic, my old post, I feel. I don't know, like I really would look back on them like, oh Jesus, girl, you giving too much, like silence yourself. Maybe that's age, maybe that's maturity, I don't know, but I just felt the need to like, my personal life is my personal life, and I'm letting you guys in on like my personality, but not my personal issues. And that's kind of what changed. I really try to keep my, I guess, internet vomit to a minimum. That it
I
was
love
more
it, bro.
fun
I
and
love it.
light.
I love
Yeah, and
all of
now
it.
thanks. And I think more people should like just post what they like and not make. And I'm totally, all of my creatives, all the creative friends I have out there, use it for your business. Fuck the algorithm, but Instagram now has a tab. You can see things in chronological order. I don't know if everybody's aware of that, but they have it, and I've been using it. It's been great. So just shout out, but all of my creatives, I think, yeah, they have to use it as a business. But if you're using it for fun and for your friends, and like you don't have any motives of making yourself like a business, then I think you should just really post for yourself, because what is a like? What is really a like? Do you see those people in person? Like, do you see those 300 people all the time? It's like you don't need that constant validation from others. You give it to yourself. When you post something, when I post now and I look at my Instagram feed, I'm like, damn, that looks very aesthetically pleasing together for myself. Like, I don't give a fuck if I, have 50 likes on something, 150, whatever it is. Like, it could be less, it could be more. Doesn't matter to me, because it's the internet. Like, this doesn't really hold place
It's
for what
all
I
ones and zeros, guys, on a
yeah,
server in
binary.
the middle of who knows where.
That's
Okay, it's a
right.
rack on a
Software.
shelf. Like,
Yeah. You're not even like tangible, really, but you're tangible, but just not in the way you think. You're like a hard drive. You're like hard plastic, sometimes metal, but like for now, you're in the cloud. Zeros and ones, but the cloud knows all.
it do, it do. Bro, machine learning and AI is just like
Fuck, bro. Yeah.
but as much
Tell
as
me.
they say, like, I don't know, they say so, like, there's this whole
Hmm.
thing of like, can we really make even computers conscious to like know us? Like,
Oh,
the thing is, I think as much as we think we can, like, humans honestly don't really understand consciousness even in their own experience. I highly doubt they'll be able to make a computer that's conscious. I think they can make a computer that's hella smart, that makes you
yeah.
think it's conscious, that
Conscious.
makes
Yes.
you
It
think that
mimics
it is
it.
yeah, it mimics
It's
it.
the predictability of humans is more predictable than humans think. So
Yeah,
yeah, of
exactly.
course.
Exactly. And plus it's more manipulating our
Uh huh.
decision-making process. So you think
Mhm.
it's like a free will choice, but your options were limited to begin with.
Uh,
So is it
how?
really, free? Um But yeah, I don't think it'll ever be able to be like conscious in the way that we're conscious and how we have this like subjective experience. But will it be hella smart and be able to tell you what you want to buy next before you know? Probably,
Yeah,
because
it's already
the
doing that
market
at a,
the market wants that. Like exactly.
like. Sorry, I just started eating on the podcast and I realized, damn, you could probably hear my chewing. Ein Moment, after, please. How fucking rude. Did my mother not teach me manners? Mm. Yes. No, it's so funny because I started reading a book about this and it's called 21 Lessons for the 21st Century.
Ooh,
It's by
I've
the,
read that one. It's so
yeah,
good. So good.
and it's written in 2017, but a lot of the things that are being discussed are happening right now in full play. And that's where like the idea of like, oh, America was so gung ho on democracy, and now look at where we're at. The conservatives don't understand anything. The leftists don't understand anything. What these political labels that we have are just bullshit. I mean,
It is.
I
It's
will
all
literally
it's
just
all it's more I think to manipulate people cuz you're like, look, there's two parties, you can only pick from two. You if you give them options then it's like, whoa, then we can't control things. None of
too
these
much,
people,
too
like the
dispersion,
majority
too
of
much
them have no
dispersion.
clue about
What the heck?
technology, which is
Oh my
really what makes
god!
America like amazing is the fact that it's producing all of this like
Mass production and mass usage of technology, but lack of understanding for those who
lack
are
of
in power.
understanding.
Like, you guys really out here using it for all that? You could be doing so many other things. Like, why are you acting so ghetto? Like, what is this? What is this? It's honestly like disgusting. Disgusting. Which one of
Yeah.
you took a shit in the toilet and didn't flush?
A
What is
lot
me?
of
Well, it
them.
was fucking
A
one of
lot
yous.
of them. You'd be surprised. A
Absolutely.
lot of them.
I'm
That
not.
was
I
one
mean,
thing
I'm
that surprised me in college. I was like, these girls don't
really.
flush. I was like, what is, I'm
Whoa, I
like,
did not see
what
the conversation turning into that. That's absolutely nasty. I thought we were talking still politics and how people don't know how to use technology, but that's basic technology actually right there. The
basic,
toilet,
basic.
sidetrack, but I think I was speaking to someone recently and they texted me that one of their old housemates on her period didn't bathe.
Like at all.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you heard that right. Because I
I
was
feel like that's
complaining.
uncomfortable.
I feel like that's so asking for a diaper rash. But secondly, it
Wait, she
was
didn't change it either? I'm
I
confused.
well, if you don't shower and you don't clean your nether regions, also known as the vagina, let's get comfortable using that word. You can develop a rash if you're just putting on new underwear. I didn't get all the details, but this is what I assume. I would really hope
Hmm.
worst case scenario is that's what they're doing, which is repulsive. Because it's just not good for you. It's really not good to do that. Not because bleeding is bad.
Nah, I mean,
Hashtag we
even
love the uterus.
hell nah, hell nah. Even when I camp and I'm on my period, like
Oh,
the one thing I
oh,
need to
hell
prioritize
on
is
earth.
being able to clean myself
Access
because
to
I
cleanliness.
will not be
Oh shit.
comfortable at all.
Sorry.
At
Yeah.
all.
No. Yeah. Like, ew. So,
You.
and all of this came because I post religiously about people that are behaving stinkily. Stank, like the stench is so dank on how bad they smell in the public transport here. But I post
Are they
about it,
like
and that
hobos or are these regular
no,
people?
no. Honestly, what the hell? This country, like, I cannot believe it, but there are very little homeless people here that look obviously homeless.
Not here.
Um.
They
Oh yeah. Oh no.
obviously look it. It's really sad. It breaks
It
my
is.
heart. It
Yeah.
really
No, I
do be
can
breaking my
imagine.
heart.
But here they really like get them to look normal in these streets and provide stuff. I'm serious. I'm not joking. You only know they're off when they start like screaming at the top of their lungs, a little bit chanty or such, and or the smell. But yeah, homeless people don't really take PT, public transport. You know what I'm saying? They're on the streets, I guess. But no, just regular people because it's a cold country usually. I this is my assumption. This is my theory. Let's go. My hypothesis. Um, that these people literally just aren't accustomed to hot weather and don't realize that they need more deodorants or to reapply or something because in the summertime trams are smelling different. It's taking me to a different level of consciousness. Like, it's really got me somewhere else. Sometimes I physically cannot be in a certain tram card because someone smells so terrible. But I might just have a sensitive nose, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's rank, and y'all be smelling right, like overripe. But yeah,
That is tragic.
that's like a small digression of
Maybe
things.
they're like, oh, I'm being sustainable. I'm using,
Nah, fam, no, that is not holistic. Okay, let's call it what it is. They fucking stank straight up from the heart with their full
I'm
chest as
surprised.
well.
Maybe this is a European thing because I remember even like, not to say all French people also have this problem, but there are select individuals that identify as French that also have a problem leveraging
Sense
deodorants. And I don't know if it's just like stems from this medieval time of when, Europeans didn't really have sufficient
like
cleanliness practices,
and
I
didn't
don't
have
know.
access to cleanliness practices, so there was no point in being cleanliness, you know.
Yeah, so I'm like, is this just like a modern day derivative of that idea? And they're
It
like,
is what
oh,
it is, fam. It is what it is. I don't know. I just genuinely don't know, but it happens a lot. And a few people have responded to my stories saying that they literally bring deodorant and like air freshener and perfumes into the tram. And I can't lie. I have a perfume sample. Like, I got a bunch of them in my Christmas stocking from years ago, you know, because my parents love to hoard shit. Shout out to my dad and mom. That I just collected them, and now I have a bunch. And I was like, oh, I use them, yes, but I'm gonna use them to keep my scent intact. I miss mask. I miss mask because that that really was a vibe. I think for winter, keeping my nose warm and for protecting it of the rank scents, that was really and truly wow. So yeah.
I guess like how have you felt about like the Dutch winters? Like, do they like get to you? Because I was talking about like this concept of like seasonal, like,
Ah, yes,
what is
the
it,
sad.
depression or
It's,
syndrome or
yeah, it's like seasonal.
seasonal sadness syndrome,
Yeah,
something
it's called
so
sad, something like this. But yeah,
sad.
that
Yes, yes.
sad. It's perfect and fitting. I think in my first year and my after internship, so my second year, it hit me pretty hard. My first year was fine because I escaped and I went to the Caribbean for a little bit. I guess I restocked. But last year was the first time I spent Christmas in the Netherlands. And I don't know. I think I've adjusted now. I kind of try to not let it play too much on my mental because it used to play a big role. You know, don't get me wrong. It's still the lack of sun in this country during cold months really does affect your like energy levels and vitamin D and all of these things. So it's important that you can take supplements or find out what's good for your body to help combat that. But like emotionally, yeah, it can take a toll. Like, you just feel drained. Everybody's a bit grumpy. Like, to be quite honest, I have adjusted very well to the cold. Like, the temperature wise, I'm like, I think the Netherlands. Every time I feel like I have to bitch about the weather in this country, I think, wow, I know people that live in Canada. Like, that's the Arctic, Like, I have a
Yeah, I
friend of
feel you.
mine who's like living in -20. So I'm like, excuse me, sir. I one time it got to -10 here, maybe one time, and then it was back up to like -2, and it stays there. And even last winter, it didn't even go. Obviously, climate change, but every time I think about it, I think, wow, Canada really is not as is for the penguins, bro. Canada is for the streets, But anyway, so yeah,
And
I
yet
think
they're
that
the nicest. It's so
I
interesting.
I can imagine. Kind of want to go. Haven't been yet, but when I get those vacation days in and I'm employed, that will be a stop in North America, five sure. That's
I
one
feel
more
you.
than
I feel
four
you.
because I'm certain about it. But Dutch winters, to sum it up, it's it's tolerable, I would say. If you get the right people around you and you keep busy and you have friends and stuff, you can make it through. You got to look for the positives. Like soon it's going to get dark again really early. I could think I'm in Finland. Not to compare, like it's still shit, right? But 6 p.m. when it's dark, I just think like when my friends are starting to get down about it, I try to remind everyone like, but from the moment it gets darker, it gets lighter. Like the light, like it's going to start extending the days of, like the days will get longer. That's what I mean. And the nights will become shorter because the issue is the night, you know? If you're not getting enough sun and you're also experiencing darkness really early, it's pretty shit for you. Like you're not asking to feel great. But if you have each other and you remind each other of these things,
Support. The
honestly,
importance of support.
that's really how it gets me through the Dutch winter, I guess. But I am a strong advocate. Your winter months, if you work a hybrid model or remote work, go somewhere warm and work there for 2.5 months during the winter and come back. That's how I passed all my resit exams. That's how I took my exams on the beach. I was not mad. I would take a break, go on the beach, do a little Duolingo to study for my French exam. What? Take a little dip. Let me tell you, during winter, you guys living in the ghetto up there in winter? No, honey. I wish that for everyone that can that they can do that in life. That's it. That's my world peace agenda. Let people work in warm for winter and have access to working in warm. So yes,
Can you imagine if like every person in a cold country flocked to warm countries in the winter and like New York and Canada were all just
empty,
empty desert,
empty
no
desert land.
humans.
Ugh, be like COVID all over again. To be quite fair, you know, like the scenery wise, it would look empty like COVID. For for
I
pandemic wise,
loved it though. I loved it. I'm like, so
oh,
this is what it would be like if we had less humans. Fantastic. Sign me up. I'm like, COVID, do your thing, girl. Do what you need to do, you know.
honestly, but for real, like it was so nice to do this reset. I'm so glad people took a pause from life. Like now we've gotten full 100 again, and we're all just like, oh, okay, that was a nice little
You
global
think we're
vacation.
full 100? I feel like people are like on edge. They're like, am I supposed to go back and give a damn about work now? Or it's like, oh shit, I'm broke. Or it's like, wait, so COVID is
Inflation.
over, but like low key it ain't though. You know, like there's just so many.
There's so many what ifs, and we're just living it. Like
Plus,
honestly,
there's a
I
whole
love
freaking war like next door to your whole freaking ass country, bro. Like,
casual, bro. Like just casually living in the European life. You know, it's really funny because when I was a kid and I would watch the news with my parents and I would see like war on TV, my instant thought was like, thank God I'm on an island, like away from all this shit. Now I'm like just on a huge landmass. Like Ukraine is just not too far off. To be quite honest, neither is Afghanistan and Syria. If you think about it, it's way
it's a
closer than it
state
is to
away. It's
from the
just a state away.
Caribbean, you know? Like, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And, you know, we're just out here dealing with it. I feel like Gen Z millennials are just like,
We just
we are
ride in
just,
the wave. We
we're like,
just
you know what? It can't get any shittier than this. But if it does,
But it will. What you mean? It is
yeah,
only
exactly.
gonna get
Like
shittier from
you,
this.
you go through this whole philosophical like questioning in your mind about like if it do, but if it don't, but it could and it will. You know, like a flow
Like
chart.
these people are not recycling enough. Like
And the problem is like it's not even us. Like it is literally the regular man is not to blame. It is hyper capitalism to blame. Okay, that was that.
this need for newness, this
It's
consumption
ridiculous.
addiction
It's
to
disgusting.
fill.
I swear to God, I'm so astonished by like people being proud to put up like a haul of 1,000 euros or pounds or dollars of a sheen. Are you stupid?
Look at my
Like,
fits.
I'm
Do
so
you like how I'm
sorry,
wasting money and adding to consumerism? And,
but
through my
but my
purchase of fashion, I'm hurting the planet because fabric takes so much energy and water and time.
and unethical practices and people
In
getting paid
third world,
nothing.
quote unquote, third world countries. Because I just got a shirt from Zara and I was like, oh, damn, it was made in Bangladesh. I could have, what? Like, ouch.
Naturally, naturally. And to combat that, I love to Vinted and secondhand shopping. So I be on Vinted and I find that Zara shit because the main thing is to not put money in the corporate pockets. So it's fine if someone else bought it. I just buy it off of them instead. I mean, I'm still consuming, which is something that I would really like to lessen. Can't say I'm keeping a bunch of shit. I love to get rid of things religiously, change things around. I realize like objects just are material. They don't hold. They don't hold. It's what you thank whatever Mary Kondo bless you. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But
And let it
it's
go.
yeah, it serves its purpose. But it's just crazy to me that the these corporations like H&M or like what is it? Yeah, the H&M brand and Inditex, which has Zara and Bershka and all of these things. They've managed to switch the narrative, and I mean even fucking companies like
It's
Shell and
marketing,
BP.
man.
Yeah, and just tell us, well, greenwash us one, and then tell us that we are the problem. Like you can't drink with plastic straws because you're gonna kill a turtle. Sir, you are dumping thousands of gallons of fossil fuels in the ocean. I'm sorry, but my plastic straw to end up in the plastic recycling. That shit, yo,
Oh
caught.
my gosh.
It's
Corporate
honestly.
responsibility.
Oh
Corporate
yes,
responsibility. But you know what the
yes.
thing is like what is a corporation? It's
Mean.
people. It's people. Like people work at these companies. Like they should be fighting for these things. I'm like, bro, what's the point of
They're
having a
not.
company when you're killing your future market? Like this isn't
That
adding
I
up
don't.
in my
I,
head.
yeah,
Like
I think that constantly, and then I think, wow, people are really there for the instant gain. Like money has really brainwashed people into just giving up all morals. And regardless of course, we can have that discussion of what is really morals. But I mean, Jesus Christ, you would think man is selfish enough to want to sustain itself. That's what astonishes me because we do everything with ego and with our best benefit in place. It's evolutionary. Like we always do
but
something
it's
that
all a delusion. There is like the fact that people think there's this self and that you're like somehow like your withholding is like gaining you some sort of like superiority is literally a delusion of the mind. I'm like, is that a churro? Like, what is
yeah,
this?
it's a churro. I ordered desserts. You know why? Okay, like it's
Yeah, I
I ordered.
mean, of course.
So yeah,
I understand.
but no, I exactly continue with your. Go on. I was listening, but
I
I'm
forgot what
going to
I was
continue.
saying.
Sorry, distracted by the churro. Churro wins again.
Yeah, I really
ASMR.
do. But yeah, I don't know. Like to me, it's like the employees. Like you, I mean, I don't know. At least like at Microsoft, I do feel empowered to like actually drive change in like sustainability. Because like tech, all the things that we use for technology, like they have to get that shit from somewhere. Like they have to mine the metal, they have to mine the silicon. They have to work with partners to get all these chipsets, and like there's a freaking shortage for that shit. Like that's always on the news, and I'm like at some point like people like as much as like it's like the lack of understanding so people don't really know where their stuff is coming from so they don't really care. It's like easy to kind of
They
write it
don't
off
see. Yep.
when you
Yep. When
don't
you
see
don't
like
know,
all the work involved to actually make that piece or to make that
of course.
technology. Like now
Yes.
that I work in industry, like just seeing the I feel like the props goes to people that work in supply chain because these mofos be coordinating like a mofo out of all of these
Operations.
different products at scale that's a we can as customers can go buy things and not even have to worry about like placing all of these little components in the right spot, threading in the right area, making sure things are consistent. And then you have to deal with like all the legal requirements because you can't just go sell anything. Like you have to make sure it falls within its right category and all of
Mhm.
that costs money just for
Mhm.
you to be able to buy that thing on sale and then put it in your haul and never wear it again. Like it's
Yeah.
just like
Exactly. Um. People don't think responsibly. Like, I remember a friend telling me, "Oh wow, you have a really nice bag," and I said, "Thanks, it's a gift." And I told her like, "Yeah, I was looking up the price after, and it's pretty like it was pricier than I expected." And she's like, "Yeah, but you could just get a bag like that at Primark." And I don't know if you're aware of what Primark is, but it's like the Walmart except a bit bougier. There's no food involved. It's just for clothes, like price wise.
Like a
I don't know.
Nordstrom.
No, no, Nordstrom is fancy.
Okay, okay.
No, this has like completely. It's like really low budget clothing, and you can get trends. I guess it's like a Sheen store in real life. And
Interesting.
she said, "Oh, you could just get one of the like a canvas bag." And I told her, "No, like this comes from like a small business. It's an art, like special made bag made of recycled materials, and work and effort was put into this, and that's why the price is this, and that's why you pay for it." And I said straight up, I was like, "We're so brainwashed into thinking that we should pay €3 for something, when in reality we should be paying €33 for something." And that's not even a lot, inflation, but we've been programmed to think we need these things. We need more than we have, and who want more than we have, and to source things unethically. And when I said that, she was like, "Ah, you're right." I'm like, "Yeah." I
People
mean,
forget about like the local human at the other end of this because they're just buying it through their computer. You're never talking to anybody. You don't have to look at anyone. And it's like, no, like all of like this whole thing is humans. Like we're doing this for each other. Like the least you would think is like to kind of be you want to have that connection with the person that's like taking the time
exactly,
to create
exactly,
this thing that you are then going to get to use functionally. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And it's going to be of quality. It'll last long. That's the other thing. Like, people are saying, like I said, €500 plus on a Sheen haul, when in reality they could have bought like maybe 6 good items with €500 that would have lasted way longer, would have looked way better, instead of this quick thing. I'm not saying like, yeah, buy your underwear for €3. Do those things. Like, some things you're like, you know what, that's it. But if we do everything like that we wear, we consume, we put on our bodies, we eat, what's wrong with you? Like, do you not care for the planet? I just, it really hurts my heart when I buy something firsthand from one of these shops, and I have to then convince myself, like, no, I'm buying this. I haven't bought something in a long time. I'm gonna wear it a lot. It's gonna match with the rest. Like, I have to convince myself of that, and
yo,
it's
the same. I feel
Mhm.
100% the same because like I will not buy clothes for that very reason. I'm like, well, you have stuff. Like clothes is just functional. It's just to keep your body warm. Like, why do you need to have that? And I have to convince myself. I'm like, bro, you haven't really bought yourself stuff ever since you even came to this damn country. Like, the least you
Bruh,
can do is get
yo,
yourself clothes that like you've always
yo,
wanted, that you know
mhm,
you would wear, and you know
yes.
you're gonna have it for a long time.
The facts to me, Harsha. Exactly.
It's
It's
hilarious that guilt that we have like just to
consumers we bear because of the market that has been propelled by us and big corporations. It's crazy.
I feel you. I feel you. But low key, that's why I feel like there are certain brands that I do like if I really like them, then I will say like as a customer like I 100% stand behind what they're doing. Like Patagonia,
Absolutely.
for example,
Oh
they're more
yeah,
like
yeah,
outerwear, but
yeah.
like
Of
their
course, I
clothes like
love
say like
Patagonia.
you ripped your Patagonia, they will fix
You
it
can
for
visit.
you.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly.
And
I
like
saw
their
it.
mentality is all about like how do we bring quality materials to our customers that will last them, which is opposite of other brands that are like, well, we just want it to
Bye, bye,
last them a
bye.
season so that the next season they'll buy something else from us so we can max profit. It's a
And it's
completely
crazy.
different ideology.
Yeah, and it's crazy because these seasons for like fast fashion brands are every week. Like, there are new clothes. I realized that there's no. I don't know. Growing up, I guess maybe it's because in order to do this big fast fashion brand shopping, you have to go to the U.S. or Puerto Rico, and I just remember seeing a lot more things that I saw online, but that were continuously there. They weren't changed out every week. I find now when I go, like, I don't buy
Sold out.
anything. Yeah, no,
Gone.
and forget that. No, they have too much stock. An issue in this country is that there's too much stock of things. And so they might finish everything off, but then they keep it for like these sales, because in this country, and I think it's in a few other Western European countries, you can only have sales 2 times a year. So you can only have a serious sale 2 times a year, and promotions have to have to be like member only kind of things, like to combat.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't really know the reasoning behind that, but it is a thing that is done in France and the Netherlands. I don't know if other countries do it, but it's like, I think end of summer sale and beginning of summer sale, or beginning of winter, beginning of summer, these things. That's when they have the sales. And then everything goes on sale for like ridiculous slashes or reductions. But I just noticed that these things, when I go to look, to get ideas, not that I need to buy, but just I like to touch things. I like to see. Yeah, exactly. Go to the city, do something. It's not so far. I love the Netherlands because it's a small country. You can just boop, boop, boop everywhere. And weird stuff and things, Shiza, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I'm just shocked that like every week is something new. Like, how do you even have time for that? And now living in a more days in this country are cold than they are warm usually. And the material of these things are just not insulated. Uniqlo though, bae. I love Uniqlo. Uniqlo is a brand that I can actually stand behind because they literally bring out the same shit every year. Like, they mass produce the same exact style every fucking year.
They're like, this is our thing and we're sticking to it. Okay.
Love it. But yeah, and they have good quality stuff I will advocate Uniqlo, but I just can't believe like these affordable fashion brands. Sometimes I'm like, this is just for the garbage plastic that I'm about to wear is not going to keep me warm. I'm looking at things like sometimes even when I'm going online secondhand shopping, I'm trying to see if people have taken a picture of the like laundry card or something where I can see what the materials are. It's really crazy now that when you start to look for that, or you become more conscious of the products that you're buying, how much of the percentage of fabric is plastic. It has different names like spandex and rayon, but it's literally plastic. It's plastic. It's plastic synthetic materials, and you're paying like 60 euros for a pair of pants that are garbage, that are
not even just fashion, even furniture. Like, even furniture, you're not, when you buy a wooden table, it's not a wooden table. It's like some weird compressed wood, and then they put like this facade on the outside that makes you think it's that fancy table, but they give you fancy table price. And you go away thinking, oh, you got a quality thing, but it's crap.
Absolute trash, brother. Absolute trash. What is my mom saying to me? Oh, cute. She's sending me something. She's like, this outfit looks like you. Saw it and thought of you. Hi, have a good weekend.
I love parents, because my parents, like, they'll send me like little like memes like, I love you, and I'm like, oh, they still have the love for me. I mean, I would hope so. Or like my dad will send me like spiritual law of attraction posts to keep me in the right mindset.
Nice.
And they'd be good. They'd be like, gratitude, like,
wow,
today is the day,
My mom loves to send me Bible verses.
My grandma does that. My grandma be sharing on the regular her devotion.
Yeah, I swear, my mom loves to and prayers. I just don't even know. Like, it's crazy where these parents of ours. I want to know where they find these things, because my mom will find the most during my thesis. Obviously, dark time. If you're wondering, viewers out there, very dark time. Don't know how I made it out. It's crazy. My mom would find like the most specific. All right, I'm talking exact on point prayer where it would be like, prayer for students struggling with anxiety and writing a bachelor thesis about like inclusion and diversity. And I'm like, where do you find that?
Like that is oddly specific. I think
Like,
God wrote that one just for me. Like
I'm trying to figure out that, like, what Pinterest boards is Capucine Solomon following? Because
the algorithm it
me,
knows.
me, I just can't. I can't believe that. It's wild. But yes, no. But my family group chat is always keeping me well informed, and my mom is always there, like, oh, by the way, if you've forgotten about my existence, here I am. I'm like, oh, for a moment I might have, but I remember you now. Thank
Yeah.
goodness you've given birth to me. Haha.
It's like, yes, the people that brought me in this world. Yes, yes, I remember them. I remember them.
Yes. Quite exquisite, darling. So
Wait, what was your thesis? You said your thesis was diversity and inclusion?
yeah, so
Like
it
in
was.
hospitality or like
I will
just
get to
broad?
that. So I wanted to make sure that my thesis reflected me and my values as an individual, which is equality for all. Know what I mean? Especially my minority group. Hey. So I was trying to figure out like a thesis topic that interested me, and I wanted to do it for my school because the track, like our thesis program, is very organized in a way that it could help you, whatever. And I wanted to get a topic already so it would be easier for me. And I saw that there was a department that needed research done for inclusion and diversity for my university. And in
Mm.
my time at university, I experienced a lot of prejudices and like racism, which I didn't expect because okay, guys, like I just genuinely didn't expect it. I got called the N word twice. Like,
You?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had
Just
like a
for
whole
people that don't know what Alanda looks like, she could pass for a Caucasian woman very easily.
but also like I had a whole identity crisis here as well. So that's just a
Yeah,
whole
I can
nother thing.
imagine.
Because, when I think back at it, I am mixed. I am partly black, I'm partly Caucasian, I'm mixed. My ethnic background and my racial background, it's just I'm someone who is mixed and I identify with both of those
Yeah,
things. But growing up I was
exactly.
a white girl, so I'm there thinking my entire life, oh yes,
What
I am
you
a white,
mean?
but
You were,
I
red
know.
skin mixed with
Y-
Lebanese, from St.
yes,
Lucia, Caribbean
yes,
body.
but I was there being really confused, but that's not the point. Bringing it back,
I feel you, girl. We all.
like I. So basically, I experienced interactions that were just plain disrespectful at my university, which claims to be an international institute, super accept in hospitality, guys. All right, hospitality. You would think people are out there to be kind and sweet. No, international is you, me against them, or whatever that thing is. So I found this topic, and as a business manager, it was like it's a business degree in the end. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to figure out something on how to fix the marketing strategy um, for this school. So I had the thesis topic, or my research question was, how does market signaling affect the perception of belonging for ethnic and racial minority students in higher education? And
Wow.
yeah, and so I did a whole sociology topic with my business degree. I am well versed because it also had to do with my interest, which is like like I said, I believe in equality. I believe in these all these theories and hypotheses of how a society can function if all members are looked at on an equal plane somehow. Of course, as someone who does believe in equality, I also realize that yes, it will be difficult and you can never reach true equalities due to certain like aspects of just how things are. But for basic human rights, you damn well know we up there. Okay. And so what that research topic means, because it's a lot of terminology, is that I'll give a working example, is that if you market as an international school and your posters contain a very racially diverse group of people, and your wording, because people think marketing is just images, no, it's also the semantics that you use and how you send out your emails, how you present yourself, who are the representatives of your school. All of that is marketing, especially for an
Mm-hmm.
organization like my university. And so, how can you do that? And then when you arrive, you don't have that picture on your campus. Like, that's not the regular. And for me, someone who came from St. Martin, where in reality is the most diverse small place I've ever lived in my whole entire life, actually, like
Whole life.
Europeans, Asians, you divide the continent of
Everybody.
Asia, then you got
Everybody.
everybody and a mother from St. Martin, like everybody is there. And so I was really expecting that from my this environment, and I didn't get it. And it's not what through my research what I discovered. I did interviews. I interviewed I think around 20 something people, all of them who identified as being an ethnic or racial minority, and yeah, the similar aspects that came up or similar themes were that it's not a problem to be a predominantly white university. I'm going to school in the Netherlands. It is a white society, majority white society. I can acknowledge that. But if you advertise as an inclusive place and you put that in your values and your mission statements and all of this stuff, but you don't have any like inclusion practices within your marketing or within your school life, how the fuck you gonna be lying? Like, why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my
But they're
god.
not the only, like, I feel like this is common practice everywhere.
Yes, but it's just I was like, I gotta say something, and I have to defend my thesis as well. I have to like give a 10-minute presentation, bring new information, and then I get questioned about my all of my decisions, my thought process of how I did this. And you bet your ass, I was like roast, roast, roast. But you see this, but you see that. That's why I did this.
Like,
And
try to find a hole, I already have it covered.
exactly, know what I mean? And this is my baby. Like, I worked on this really hard. I read way more than I had to come up with the things I came across. And yeah, I was very happy with the end result because I had two really old white professors, and both of them were super proud of the work that I proposed. Like,
Aw.
they were. I honestly, like, it was so. If you live in the Netherlands, this is kind of what the old men sound like, and this is literally how my teacher. So he came to me at the end of my presentation, and he was like, "Alanda, it's great. There were like topics that you covered that are a real issue. We had to question this just to meet the rubric standards of grading you, but I really think this is a good basis research for someone to continue later. And that was very much validating for me to even though it's annoying because it's conflict inside of your body where it's like, the white man, I gotta impress the white man, and be validated. But because it's the reaction was reciprocated. It's like, I'm really happy that this work is there, which means, yeah, you're a fucking ally. You're like on the side of
Yeah.
equality.
I think it's interesting, like, this weird division, because especially in
Mhm.
America, like, I
Oh.
never heard the words diversity and inclusion until I came to the US. Like, I didn't even know this was like a thing people cared about.
Mhm.
I just assumed, like, because like you said, St. Martin's so diverse, we just take that for granted. We assume everywhere is like that because that big man
Absolutely.
country, so they must be better off than us, right? Right? Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
But
And then you
absolutely
get there,
not.
and it's quite the opposite. And it's interesting, like, I cannot believe someone called you the N-word. That is, like,
Really
kind of
crazy.
hilarious,
Twice.
but also, like, in a way, yeah, there's just so many layers to it. Like, I mean, especially in, like, in St. Martin, we don't really experience racism in that manner.
And that,
Like, there are
yeah, aggressive. Yes.
microaggressions and there are
Mhm.
people that say ignorant things to, like,
Mhm.
Asians more
Mhm.
specifically, I think.
Mhm.
Um
Absolutely.
but it was never like being like having to worry about my blackness was never something that was ever top of mind for me, because it seemed like so obvious. But when you come to the States, it has like this whole new
Term.
layering
Yeah.
of like and burden that comes with that like
Yeah.
people that are born here are literally like stuck in every day of their life. Like they have no other context outside of that. And like to hear like this whole talk of like diversity and inclusion was so like weird because I'm like, what do you mean? Like to me, people should naturally want to be around people that are different from them because that's how you
Yeah,
learn and
it's
grow and you get to
exactly.
experience other cultures which are so good
Yeah,
and their food be
yeah.
bomb, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
that's what
like
what do you mean? Shorty, the food and the celebrations, the best part. Excuse me, at least start there. Then you can get to know the people and the cultural
exactly.
representation. But
Exactly.
damn, you missing out on all the fun.
The
Like
food, the partying, the love that other cultures have to
the
share and like
unification.
it's so weird like that there's like committees that fight for this because I'm like to me it just seems like our
Secondary. It's like
natural
natural.
way exactly like our natural way
Exactly.
is to love each other and like for people to put up this barrier um was interesting because I was trying to understand like where is that coming from, like where is this fear, this resistance, where is it
Mhm.
stemmed, and then you remember
Mhm.
slavery and it's like oh
Yep. And
that
it's like
shit.
that's pretty whack. It's like, nobody acknowledged that this happened properly, so now we are still living in it. Very different. Like I really can't imagine because this was also my topic was so controversial among certain groups,
I can
obviously.
imagine.
So the whole like defending yourself is such a thing. But I used to get a lot when I was especially during 2020 when BLM was out and about, very active, and I was there obviously protesting and like giving my opinion on how it is to be a minority because once again there are just I don't care what the percentage of black I am, you will not catch me using the N-word. I'm so sorry to anyone who thinks that you will not find me saying it. Sorry. And so where was I going with this? Damn. But I experienced racism and I have seen my friends experience like there's a bug racism, and I can't stand for it. And I had a lot of obviously white friends in this country, and when I was getting on about it, they were just they some of them just
They'd
wouldn't
just
have
be
it.
like, Alanda, you're white. Like, why do you care? Like,
No,
you're white, Alanda.
not even, because they would still see me as a person of color. But it was just the fact that they were like, oh, but it's not that bad in the Netherlands because obviously BLM was
An
a started
American
thing,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. But uh, it's a movement that spawns across nations
I
because
don't
it's
know how they
about
can say it's not bad in the Netherlands. They have
oh
Zwarte Piet, and they refuse
yeah,
to even
forget
discuss
the
that. Like,
forget Zwartepiet because we're combating that pretty well. I'm loving what the city of Amsterdam has decided. Like, you cannot have any blackface. You gotta for real put ash or make your children blue or something. But you cannot do that. It's like outlawed, bad. And so there's they're changing like the images, but there's some people who are stuck in the boondocks. So it's you obviously, but it's just that it's not, of course, cannot say that the racism experience in the US, that's another level of systemic what the y'all, that is not right, not right. But there is still some of that in the Netherlands. Like there was a whole court case and trial of the Belastingdienst, which is like the tax office here, like the public tax office, government taxes or whatever, where they were wrongfully like convicting minority families in the Netherlands of tax fraud and putting these people in debt that would put them in the streets or force them to live off of only welfare and things like that. And when these people asked to like have their cases reopened and relooked, it took ages. So obviously they're broke by then. They're struggling, and there's lots of other cases where and in government where there's discussions of these things and open what's it called, like, yeah, open discussion of like hate against some sort of minority group. And to say that it doesn't exist because it's not as bad as somewhere else is to just close your eyes, like to pull the
yeah,
wool
like
over your
what?
eyes.
Comparison does not. The
Um,
fact that you have it at
equate.
all is the
Oh,
problem.
so yeah, I mean, I really couldn't believe it here in this country how I experienced that so directly. And I even had teachers stereotype me, and stigma me. It's crazy. I'll tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, huh? I want to tell you this. I'm just like a voice recording box for pop culture. Anyway, weird stuff and things. Like, I had to do practicals for my university, which means I had to work in like the kitchen, and I had to do like housekeeping and front desk, all of the aspects, the departments of a hotel, basically. And
Mm.
I injured myself on shift. And when you like, yeah, obviously,
What happened? What
all
happened? I
right,
need.
sidetrack. This is the saddest story ever. Anyway, so like I went out to throw the garbage. Bear in mind it's winter in the Netherlands. Okay, I went outside in my kitchen uniform. So imagine Alanda in a little a chef hat, a little chef uniform, the white coat, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, it was looking funky fresh. And I was in my kitchen shoes, and I would think these motherfuckers had some serious grip on them. I bust my ass and I fall down the stairs. The back of the school. I went to throw garbage because that's where the garbage is. And I bust my ass in winter, and I fell, and my foot was just not having it. My foot said no, and I
I'm
was going.
done. I'm done.
I literally just canceled me completely. And I was in the back of the school, fucking cold, waiting for someone to come. Luckily, it was like 2 minutes I was on the ground. And then they carried me into the kitchen, and I didn't want to. That's how it. And I basically sprained my ankle. I didn't break it, thankfully, but I sat out. And then we had a discussion of like what would happen for the upcoming days. And I said, like, listen, I still want to come to shift. I can still work. And I discussed with my team members. We had a good team, and they were like, we'll help you. We're just doing this and that. So it's going to be easy, Alanda. We got you. So I'm doing my shifts because I did not want to redo this outlet. That's what they call it. I was not going to do this over because it was the worst outlet to have, and I had a good team. So I didn't want to do this again. I was like, nah. This is it. That's it. No. And so we have to clean the kitchen, like deep clean the kitchen. We get taught what hygiene rules. We do the basics. We do the business, economics, HR, you name it. I got a broad education base of
You gotta
hospitality.
teach me, bro. Teach me
Oh,
how to clean.
oh,
Teach me.
I'm so good at it. It's dangerous, man. Like, sidetrack story. I live with someone who like shits on the toilet seat, so I'm pretty good at clean. Yeah, don't even. That's an off-camera discussion, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
VIP only.
Yeah. Like and subscribe if you want to hear the rest. But yeah, so back to the kitchen story. Like I took a rest, after during the cleaning. I was like, I need to take like a pressure off my foot, and I told my teammates in school. An instructor, which is a teacher, an employee of the school, a chef at the uni that is on their payroll. All right, so we're understanding a grown fucking man.
A so-called adult.
A so-called adult, white and Dutch, comes up to me straight up and is like, Alanda, what the hell do you think you're doing? Like, do you think this is the Caribbean or something that you can just sit around and do nothing all day? And I kind of just stood there like, did this motherfucker who has to grade
Did this
me
just happen?
because if he wasn't my teacher, I was fucking giving him a piece of my mind. I was gonna tell him to go suck his fucking mother, because not me he was telling that to, but because of this power dynamic. And this was like my first. I think I had only been in the Netherlands for 4 months at that time. Never been to Europe before. Yeah, that was it. And I had this grown ass man tell me that, and then not long after, I got called the N word. And yeah,
Welcome to Deutschland.
And that's Germany, actually. So it's Nederland. Yeah, Deutschland
Oops.
Deutschland is Germany, but Nederland
trying to
is
be cute,
Yeah, it's all right. It happens. Don't worry. It's different language. Like, it's the German word for Germany. But crazy, right?
I know. It just sounds like I just want to say Dutch land in a cute.
Yeah, Nederlands. Hooyah.
Welcome to Netherlands. It was not in the pamphlet, but it's the true Dutch experience.
Apparently so. I just really couldn't believe it, like the ignorance. And then I realized, because I'm not gonna, yeah, I just really couldn't. And I had
I
never,
I wouldn't even know what to say to that. I'd be like, I would laugh because I'm like, this is
honestly,
funny. This is a skit,
honestly,
right? Are you
uh,
pranking me? Are there
for
cameras
real,
around?
I
Like,
really had to like, I went over to my teammate, which is now one of my closest friends, and I told her, and she's like, "You're fucking joking." I'm like, that just happened. And I questioned myself for a moment. And I was like, guys, am I helping you out enough? And they're like, Alanda, what the fuck? What he told you is absolutely messed up, you know? Like, that's not acceptable. I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy. All right. Because I just, and then the same reaction happened to me after I got called the N word as well, you know? Like,
I mean,
I,
how you've never had this happen? It's not like you had your training for this moment to
no,
be
but
like, ah.
apparently the world was trying to train me or something because I was just not having it. I apparently it was giving, but I didn't know how to take it. And when I got called the N word, I went downstairs to apologize because I was playing music loud and someone closed my door. And I lived in shared accommodation. And I thought, like, oh, you know, it wasn't anything to think about. I was like, oh, I would have done the same because Dutch directness. By now, I'm already like, I'll tell you exactly what's on my mind. You're done, no? And so I went downstairs, and this girl was like, I came to apologize about my music being too loud, and this girl just straight up says, "No, Alanda, I just don't like your N word music, and that's very N wordish of you." And I was there in shock because not only did she say it
This is
once,
a
but
statement.
she said it twice. I
A
was just,
statement.
and then
Like
because
she's practiced saying this in her head multiple times. There was no hesitation.
I am sitting in a room with like all of these white people, like because it's in the kitchen of our shared accommodation, and I'm looking around and I'm like, everybody's looking at this as if it's normal, and I'm like, do you realize what you just said? And she's like, yeah, hard R, by the way, hard R. Okay, so it was like giving slave master. That's why I'm in shock. You know, it's not even like someone just said the a rap lyric. Someone just hard
She
R'd
went to
me.
the ER version, not the version.
Not the street homie, I'm your friend. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
like
She was looking at me as if I was
she's
a
like,
plantation
"Patch."
worker or a
She's
porch
like, you are
slave, you know?
reminding me. She's like, this is not very civilized of you. You're reminding me of the
And
savages. Can you
she,
not, girl?
yeah, like she literally reduced me to that. And I had to ask as well. I was like, do you realize what you just said? And that's when she responded, yeah, it's just kind of
She's like,
N-wordish.
yeah,
And
I
then,
did. I did. I know what I said.
and I just
I
went up
know.
I went up the stairs. I removed her, blocked her on everything, and I was just like, not today. Not fucking
Not
me.
today, Satan. Not today. I rebuke you.
Absolutely not.
Rebuke.
Absolutely not. I couldn't believe it. I really didn't. And yeah, got called a sand N word, which is a term used for people from the Middle East as a slur in Dutch. So yeah, that one was new. That one was really new. At a certain point, I was just like, okay. And then I
They're
moved to
teaching you about racism, not
yeah,
just like they're like, oh,
yeah,
here's some more racism you didn't know about. I'm gonna
yeah. Like,
show it to you.
yeah, like
Enjoy.
what the hell? Like, I had obviously experienced ignorance, and like I'm from St. Lucia, which if people don't realize is a majority Black society, which is dope. Obviously, like there's no complaints, but often people can't believe that I am a white St. Lucian. And because of where I come from in St. Lucia, it's not typically like a wealthy part of St. Lucia. It's not where the white people would be, so to say. And I have to, when I was working there, I often had to prove myself in this ridiculous way. One time, a guy saw my ID and thought okay, first of all, why would I make a fake ID for the country that I'm staying in? All right. Like that seems sketchy, but
A
anyway.
lot of effort. A lot of effort.
Right. And this guy saw that my address was on my ID and he was like, you live there? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, if you live there, how many speed bumps are in front of the school? And I was like, I literally have to drive there like all the time with my family. I have been going to this place for my entire, like at that time, 19 years of life. I could, with my eyes closed, I could figure out how to travel from the airport to my house in St. Lucia. Like, don't even get it twisted, you know? And I told him, and he was like, damn, you're right. You know, like, I was like, obviously I'm right, you know? So I had experienced this ignorance. I'd even called police out for trying to like racially profile me as being like wealthy because I was white in the market.
Isn't
It was
it interesting though? Like the flip side, if you're white, it's to assume that you're rich. If you're Asian, they assume that you're smart. You know, if you're black, then they assume you're a failure. And I'm like, bro, why do these like why is this why are these the connotations? Like you're reducing people's even experiences, like why people can be poor. Okay. It is fine. This is a
it's a human
reality.
experience that is unpleasant, but it exists. Yeah, it's crazy.
Ridiculous.
So yeah,
Ridiculous.
I think people really need to expand their field of whatever it is, that the openness, and stop this me against them or them against us or whatever idea, and just realize that, oh my God, you can learn so much from opening up your mind to being less ignorant, you know, because ignorance in definition is just a lack of knowledge. And I
A
consistently
lack of awareness.
this,
Yeah.
yeah. And I consistently find myself giving out that definition when explaining ignorance because, you know, it's okay to be ignorant. But it's important that when you realize, like, oh, you don't know something, how you react to your ignorance is really the follow up. And yeah, it's insane to me that like these extreme right winged ideologies and these extreme like conspiracy theory groups that are inevitably hate groups most
The
of the
QAnon, bro.
cute like that's it's not a joke anymore. That's what I mean. Oh, this
It's
is a
not. These people believe. Like,
like this is what I meant with like what's it called with this continuation of a Black Mirror episode.
do you know
People
why they did the whole Roe versus Wade thing? Do you know the real
what
reason why?
oh God, please tell me. I'm so excited to
So,
braid.
in
Oh my
America,
God.
right?
Oh, I'm loving where this is going.
Minority babies are on the uptick, and they felt that like out of all the women that were having abortions, the majority were white women. So they felt like a lot of white babies were dying, which were reducing the projected white
Oh my God.
population numbers.
I
Like
go up.
this is the truth. Like I'm like I wish this wasn't the truth, but it is like literally the reason why they fought so hard for this. So they felt like they had to reverse Roe versus Wade and make it a state
Are
decision
you
so
serious,
that they
Harsha? Are
could
you fucking
force
me?
more white women to have their babies so that there would be more white people because yeah, white women were having abortions and they felt like it made them a bit uncomfortable.
Are you serious?
I wish I wasn't.
Wait, is this for real?
Yeah, like for real. Like that was one of like the driving reasons behind why they went about that.
That's very fucked up. That is absolutely trash. But you know, it's not funny, but coincidental. There is this fertility doctor in the U.S. I forgot his name, but I just watched his documentary on Netflix. Who impregnated multiple women with his sperm without their knowledge. Yeah, it's happened a few times in society. There's quite a few of these cases. But his whole ideology behind that was because he was a part of some Christian cult group that believed in this, that believed that white women needed to repopulate the planet, and he thought his seed was oh God.
The progenesis. It's the
Uh,
god. It's the Aryan race that they are
but
trying to
that's
to
literally
build.
it. But it's fucked up because basically to be a sperm donor, you have to go through like a bunch of tests to see the quality of your sperm. And if you have too many, like, I don't want to say fatalities because that's not right. I don't know the medical terminology for it, but you know, if there's too many issues with your health, you cannot provide. And this guy had an immune deficiency issue, and like half of his, well, more than half. Oh, by the way, he has 99 kids and counting. Yeah, that's how
Nick
they're
Cannon's competition.
wild. But yeah. So he was trying to do that, and these kids all have like immune deficiency or weird health issues because of it.
That's
So,
nasty. Oh
but
my
no,
gosh.
politically, the Black Mirror episode. This is a point that I wanted to make with QAnon, is that with Donald Trump, that's the rise of
Their
conspiracy theories.
savior.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is that Donald Trump's rise to presidency is all based off of Twitter and media.
Yes,
And there's,
manipulation. Did you
yeah,
see the
which,
whole what's it called? The Cambridge Analytica documentary? That's something
no,
you should go watch. Watch that one.
okay,
It
I will.
literally talks about how they took social media, they took Instagram and Facebook's out. They took literally data from Facebook against Facebook's, well, Facebook gave it to them and then Facebook was like, "Nah, nah, nah, G, you can't do that." And at that point they were like, "Well, we already got it. So we just gonna keep using it." Like, and
Exactly.
pretty much they took all of that data. They found who were people that like perspectives weren't like 100% like they were hard left or hard right, and then
Mhm.
they pushed a bunch of like marketing media to them to swear their votes one way or another, and it
Yeah,
worked so well that Trump won,
dude. But I'm not.
among other Republicans too. Like they did
Yeah,
this with other Republican candidates like Ted Cruz and
yeah.
some other
But
other
I'm not even
people.
surprised because this has been a long time coming. Because even before Trump was president, like he was being baited himself, he was being manipulated to become president because of Twitter. And there's a whole documentary series on it. I think it's called Becoming Trump or something. It's like 4 episodes. And it's so crazy how consistent his character is with inconsistency. And Twitter is really a reason why he rose to presidency. That's the whole baseline of it. And also, I was telling another friend that I remember watching like interviews of people who voted for Trump, and how some of them said that they voted for him as a joke, and
Yeah,
that's
people are stupid, bro. Because trust me,
but
even at my university, they were trying to vote a
I
dog into presidency. Okay, so like Americans, they don't really care. They think this
but
stuff is a joke.
a joke, but that's what I mean, like we're literally using technology to create like politicians who really should not at all have that platform, and we think it's
Not
a joke,
even, not at all.
and
But
we
to be
think
fair, at
that
this point, since Trump went in there, the whole presidency's a joke. Like after
yeah,
he went in there, it just
oh
proves
yeah,
that it
it's
is stupid. Like it's not
yeah, like that's
working,
one thing he
obviously.
did. Like through all of his shit, he brought up the shit that was under the table for so long. Like
He
that's
did, bro.
that's
That was the
literally the
part that was so
only.
funny.
That's literally all I can give Donald Trump is that.
I feel like if he could, if they didn't take away his Twitter, he would have told us if they found aliens for real. He would have been like, y'all, this is what I said, Area 51. Okay, I'm just gonna let y'all know because I'm tired of these people trying to control me.
Mans did not give a fuck. Mans was like, last day in office, pardon, 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 pardon.
He was like, my homies, I got you.
He's
I
like,
got you. I got you. I got you.
he said, organized crime, say no more.
Yeah, he was like,
At country level, and Mans didn't get impeached. I was like, how do you guys not live in corruption? Like, how do you guys not see that you're living in
I think the
corruption?
Republicans knew they made their bed and they were like, we just gonna have to ride and die with him. We just gonna have to sink with the captain and we just gonna hope we could ride this out. The fact that they stormed the Capitol, though, you see, this is the reality TV show we didn't know we wanted, but it's better than anything they can make in Hollywood. Like, I'm like, this is too good and too bad because I'm living here. I'm like, Lord.
But you're living there. I don't even live in that country, and I'd be like, yo, it's the ghetto over there, shorty. What the figgity fuck,
Like,
man?
like we said earlier, the nature, she cute. American nature, she cute. She very nice, she very
10 out of 10
relaxing.
bang.
10 out of 10, highly recommend. The people, it depends where you go. That's all I'm gonna say. It depends where you go.
Fair enough, like anywhere.
It depends where you go. That's all. That's all
You speaking,
I've
you
got.
speaking, you
Like,
speaking. No, damn. But yes, so no. I also just recently finished right before this phone call podcast conversation. I just watched this documentary, poorly filmed. Obviously, but it's so. I hate when a documentary has good information and is not displayed visually appealing. Like whoever was doing the camera work for this documentary needs to be fired, and the editor as well, because it's way too, it's like I'm getting vertigo every time I'm looking at it. Like it's too much movement. I'm like, bro, I just want to focus. And two, you could have done so much more with the filler visuals, whatever. But it's called, I think it's something about what are the feminists thinking, or let me find that for you. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Let me just find
That's
it.
interesting.
I really think like feminists, what were they thinking? And basically it's this documentary series questioning women who some activist photographer took pictures of during the movement of feminism in the US, and them in their natural state of what it's like to be a woman. And there were so many topics that were brought up that I recently, as an adult woman, have been contemplating as well. Something that really got to me during this whole Roe versus Wade situation, and then I watched like two other documentaries on Netflix about like, yeah, just the one about the fertility doctor, and then the other one about that Mormon cult in Texas and in Kansas or something.
Ooh,
Yes,
I watched that one, the FDLS.
yes, yes, yes.
Bro,
For
that
Latter Day
one,
Saints.
that
Yeah.
one,
That one
that
really, the
one.
ending.
Ooh,
That one it hit me in a very different place. I did not like it. No, no. I
yeah,
mean, like
not
I
at
didn't like it.
all.
I'm very glad that they have this documented, but I did not enjoy the fact that this man exists. And anyway,
Exactly. Like this was a
yeah,
real place, and people were.
yeah.
Oh,
And
well, there's
it's
still, because
still
there's still people that believe
and are
exactly. We on the
falling.
same wave. I already know
Yeah,
what you're saying, but
yeah.
yeah.
And so all in like maybe 2 weeks, I was taking in this information, and as a woman, I sat in my room thinking like, wow, from the moment I'm born, I'm lesser, but I have never truly been made to feel that way, like throughout my entire life, because it's just so subconscious and it's just so part of society, especially growing up in the Caribbean. There is traditional values there where, women are supposed to be cute and sexy and just there for their man and submitting in some way, whatever,
And wind up
proper.
and ting and
Yeah, like we're
make the
property, and
yeah. We're just
so
sexual objects
objects.
essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just hit me. I'm like, wow, from the moment I'm born, I'm like lesser. Like I use the word that just made me really feel like,
And it's not that you're
inadequate.
lesser. It's just like the
No,
framework views
work.
you as having
Yes,
less value.
exactly. And that's kind of it. When I realized like women are getting their right to their bodies taken away, and the law systems are not even there to protect young girls, and things from like the terminology of what we use to describe those who identify as female grown, instead of, what's really messed up is that sometimes they will like headlines for rape cases. The terminology they use there, it's a young woman. No, it was a child. It was a young girl. Like that is a very important thing as well. We lessen the victim even, like we don't give it the right title. Whereas even though a young woman is something strong, that's not what happened. It's a young girl, so you can amplify the fucked upness of a rape case, like with like
The
lessons like that.
pervs that are around us,
Yeah.
like, and we know what made me really uncomfortable, Alanda, was when
Mhm.
I finally read the post about our IT professor at LU
Yeah. Yes.
and the charges that are being alleged against him, and the fact that like this was someone that we were
Have
around multiple days of the week
yes.
in a place
Yes.
that's supposed to protect us, a place that's supposed to raise us, and
Yes.
we were
Develop us.
surrounded by a predator,
This
literally.
whole
Like that
time.
was
This
like,
whole time.
it is
And
sickening. Like literally, it makes me so uncomfortable. Like I can
I
feel
had the
this
same.
change in my being of like, damn, like that is so uncomfortable to feel that you were in the presence of someone that like was looking to manipulate you on some level. Like that is just so like Cringe.
Harsha, Harsha, I really had the same uncomfortableness. I was telling people about it as well in the Netherlands because these things don't happen here, or if they do, they're taken care of immediately. You know, like there is a predator system, unlike back home. But I was telling them like I knew this man, like he would single me out in class, but I never was sexually
Exactly.
assaulted or
Exactly.
harassed or anything
Exactly.
like that. But then it got me thinking, like, oh my God, was he grooming me? Like, did he just never get the opportunity to do it somehow? Like, why did,
Exactly.
because it was everything word for word in that article that was written. I was like, I'm
Was like,
seeing a
wait a
visual.
minute.
Yes,
Exactly. Like this seems a little too
too
familiar. Like we're in guinea
familiar.
pig
Like,
stage,
I was,
like of practice to see how
of
well it
course.
went.
And that goes to show you that these things can happen anywhere, not just in like the States or things like that, but it's just the fact that we don't have a system in place to make survivors, whatever you want to call them, victims or survivors of rape and predator cases and sexual assault, they don't have a voice. We give them no voice when they without having a registry
Because it's like
for
this whole taboo thing, because sex is
it's
taboo. Women
yeah,
having sex for pleasure is
yeah.
taboo. So if
How
a
dare
woman is
they?
violated by a man, then it's like, oh well, but what did she do?
What
Like, did she seduce him with her
excuse me, right?
cleavage and her sexual body? Like, how is the man
Oh, by
supposed to
just breathing
control himself?
well, the same way a woman controls herself when she sees a fine-looking man.
Oh,
Same,
but
sure.
women don't get aroused though, Alanda.
Oh,
Like, what are you
right, I
talking about? That's
forgot.
hysteria. Women
All
don't
right, I
masturbate.
totally forgot. My bad. I was just
Women
looking at
don't
this fine
enjoy.
little
We are
shorty on this.
baby making machines.
I am
That's
just
our
for
only good
function and not
purpose.
pleasure. Forgot about that. My invalidation. Yeah, no, but it's just ridiculous. Like these things are not taken seriously, and you have cases where predators can just roam fucking free on the island. Like right now, this I see this post going around with this
The
man on mullet,
masturbating dude.
and he's
Yes.
been doing this for fucking years,
For
man. Like
years.
years. But
Years.
reading that made me
Years.
so uncomfortable because I was just
Years. The
like,
fact
you
I
went,
thought they had caught him already.
me
I did not think
too.
he was still out there. Like,
But apparently, Mans has a government position on the French side. And are you
yeah, maybe that's why
joking?
he feels so comfortable just whipping it out in public places.
Let me tell
Like,
you something. I swear, if you see these people need to the government of Saint Martin needs to create a sexual offenders list because I am tired of people's
I got
cousins.
some names. I got
Of
some
course,
names they need to add to that damn list.
everybody has some names, but you want to know why? Because why would they do that? That means people who are in power would be convicted for crimes that they've committed. And a former teacher of mine, I met her abroad. Yeah, right. I met her abroad, and she told me that during the time, this is like in 2004, where I don't really have much memory. I still am formulating memory at this time, but it's not really like focused on
I feel you. I
societal
feel you.
issues, you know? But she was telling me when we met up during my university time, she said, you know, Alanda, there used to be a home for battered wives on St. Martin. I was like, really? You know, because I think we were having this discussion about sexual assault and not having a
I think
predators
there's
list here.
still like a house for like women that experience abuse and stuff. I forget what it's called, but I do think
Yeah,
there is still one.
yeah, no, there is. There is now. But it was shut down for a little bit during the time of when it first started because this was supposed to be a safe shelter for these women, and people were giving the names of the women that were there. And also, like, it was becoming a problem because government officials and people in authority were the abusers. And it's just astonishing to me that people think that's okay. Obviously, we've already had this discussion like men have the power, property, why would women have pleasure? But that narrative needs to change. And the reason that I am so like motivated about it and I speak so openly and freely about it is because I have a little sister and Madison is 7 years younger than me. And I realize a lot of the things I went through at her age, I shouldn't have gone through, you know? And I think about her and I think about other girls in her age group and other girls that are becoming young women, like actually, you know, legally becoming young women and the fears they've had to face from like sexually abusive aunts or uncles, and this is also because for damn certain there are some boys and men now in St. Martin who have been sexually assaulted and raped by family members as well, and we don't give them a voice either. And it's just, how can you sit there at night? Because I might not see children in my future, like for myself, but I love kids. And I think that there is an innocence of protecting a child because you're creating a future adult, like you're creating next generation. And when you take away their innocence and their trust from the world in something that's supposed to be so intimate and they learn on their own time in a protected, safe space, you are absolutely satanic. Like, I mean, you are honestly a demon. Like,
the scum of the scum.
How can you?
It's heartbreaking.
So that's why with that documentary, like keep sweet and pray or whatever. And
Cringe.
I had the listening to the ending of that with the voice recording was just so uncomfortable for me because I'm thinking about my sister and her friends. Like if anyone, any of y'all,
they dead.
I don't know where the strength would come from, but y'all are catching these hands.
You're dead.
Like, don't
You're
even...
DAAD.
So yes, we should all be fighting for safety of our children.
Yeah, exactly. Like children, bro. Like these are
children. Children. Not that it's right to do it to grown women either. So don't get these fucked up predators.
But it's like this is like kids. Like they're like they're children. Like they. Oh my god.
It's like what does it take for government to wake up and be like, you know what? We actually need to put this at the top of our list.
And you know what's messed up though? Our government has typically historically been run by women. Where they at? Like, you would think that a country whose first prime minister was female, you would see advancements in the rights of women, right?
No,
because yet here we are.
It's crazy because also in the Caribbean we have the highest capita of female entrepreneurs and female-owned businesses. Most entrepreneurs come from. I was reading it on a Know Your Caribbean. Love it. Shout out to Fiona Compton. Big up the former Prime Minister of St. Lucia's daughter. Great historian. I recommend. I'm doing like free promotion here. I recommend if you're from the Caribbean and you're a West Indian and you want to know more about your community and your region, Know Your Caribbean. That is it. That's where it's at. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Decolonize your mind.
No. Decolonize. It's crazy because our whole framework was built in that. Oof, the layers.
Right? Yes.
But bro, this has been like such a bomb ass convo. Obviously, we need to do more now that your computer is virus free.
Yeah.
Excellent Wi-Fi signals.
We're doing it now. I'm functioning, right? It's crazy. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad we're doing this. We're having like these great conversations, something so stimulating. Like, I'm very happy that you invited me on the podcast, Harsha.
Of course. I mean, it was a de facto request. It was just more of like, I needed you to be done with your thesis because I couldn't. Alanda was stressed out. We could not.
Nobody. Alanda didn't even know who she was. I came out of graduation and my thesis like, who am I? Who is this? Yeah, so no, I'm very glad to be living in the now again and being able to have time to take out and do these things. So yeah, just ask and you shall receive.